We're back again with Parents versus Gaming. This is episode 57. My name is James III. I am joined by the amazing, beautiful Killa Kane again. Killa, how are you?
I'm doing good.
How's the week?
Doing good. It's been a week. It's been a week.
So we are jumping in. This is the third episode of the night that we're recording. Again, if you're listening to this on audio or YouTube, you can find us recording live on twitch.tv/ That's your cue.
I'm sorry, your mic cut out again.
Hey, listen, that's not my fault that you have technical difficulties.
I know. Okay, anyways, I know. I mean, I wouldn't be a real streamer if I didn't have
That's true. That's 100% true.
Let's just face it.
Last week, my whole computer bricked, so there's that.
It's fine.
The joys of trying to do this as an amateur.
Yes, you can find me at twitch.tv / Killa Kane 0801. That's where you can find me on Twitch.
So that's where you can watch the live stream of the podcast or watch her stream. She does all kinds of video games, and she even has a story night if you just kind of want to sit down and follow along.
Yes. My story nights are very nice. They're very cozy, relaxed, and very chill. And my chat is usually very, very quiet. But it's just a cozy little stream, basically, because it's story night. Everybody's there for the story. They just want to chill.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And your community is really, really great. They're pretty amazing. So
yeah, I gotta say, I have a pretty fire community.
Now, if you're
a little biased, but
if you're a Discord fan, the home of Parents versus Gaming is now just going to be solely on the bakery server.
Yes.
Do you want to kind of explain a little bit about the bakery?
Yeah. So the bakery is basically my community. That is the name of my Discord server. It's got its name because I love to bake. I actually do occasional baking streams as well. So I do things like that as well randomly. Those are usually my pop-up streams. But yeah, so the bakery is where we will have it's where my community's at. I have stuff in there for mental health. I have stuff in there for people to just chat. They can I have hangout channels. I have gaming channels. I have I have the podcast channel as well now in there. But yeah, that's basically where everything goes down. That's where you can keep up with me as well. Because a lot of times I will be in there in Discord. I'm usually on there. It has all my socials as well, which is also where our Parents versus Gaming as well will have their socials, so people can go in there if they don't know where they can find us. They can find all our social links will eventually be in the social link channel. We are currently working on that, so bear with us, guys.
Yeah, hopefully as you're listening to this, it's up.
Yes, so hopefully as soon as you're listening to this, yes, hopefully it will be up. But yes, all our socials will also be linked in my Discord as well. And it's a really homely community. A lot of people in there are super friendly. I don't tend to have very many issues. Every once in a while, one might pop up, but we usually nip that in the bud pretty quickly. We don't deal with a lot of drama. That's not something I like. That's not something we promote in my community. So, and everybody's pretty friendly. Like I said, we're pretty tight knit community in there.
Absolutely.
Like a lot of us, we know each other. We hang out with each other on occasion. So, whether it's in a VC or gaming together as well. So, yeah.
Hey, it's fun. You definitely should jump in if you want to interact and have a little, sometimes it's just laughs. Sometimes the stuff you guys talk about isn't even about video games. It's just daily life. So,
yeah.
So it can be a great escape from life once in a while.
Yes. I even have a channel in there. It says "Make Us Hungry." So like when I post food,
I hate when you post in that one. I always look at it when it's lunch because I'm like, especially Monday afternoons. This is when I scroll through your Discord server. It's Monday afternoons. I'm on the conference call and I'm like, oh, what are we talking about this week? And I'm just start scrolling through. And our conference calls are at 1, and I usually don't eat lunch before. And then the longer they go, and I'm just looking at all the food that Killa's made that week or other people have talked about, and I'm just like, oh, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah. It's funny because actually some of the people's Discords that I've been in, they purposely created a channel for me to be able to post food in. They have purposely created that because they know I love to post food. So they purposely created a food channel for me.
That's just mean
in their
Discords.
Community.
That's just cruel.
So I can do it.
Cool.
And so, yes, we do have a channel that says "Make Us Hungry," and you can post your food that you make there. And if you have a recipe or anything like that, you're more than welcome to post it. So I do have channels like that as well. So
Yeah.
I have creative channels for my artists that are in my Discord as well. So it's kind of nice having a variety of people in there that like doing different things.
Hey, there you go. All right, let's jump in to this week's topic, Kia.
Yes.
We'll check it out. This is going to Parents First Gaming. We're all about trying to help parents understand kids that game or maybe your different relationships that you could be in. So we're always going to be jumping in. But this week, we're going to talk about the 9 benefits of video games for your child. This article is on parents.com by the parent editors. So I guess I can't give a shout out to one in particular person. But parents.com put this up. This is actually just this past August that they talked about. And underneath you can see there, it says, age-appropriate video games played in moderation can help young kids develop educationally, socially, and physically. And we've been saying that since the beginning, right, Kia? We talk about everything
Yes.
in moderation. Everyone's worried about their kids being addicted, things like that. But everything in moderation. So the first one, why video games can be beneficial. I'm just going to read through this a little bit. As parents, we tend to focus more on the potential dangers than on the benefits of video games. But since these games are a normal part of modern childhood, it's good to know that video games can be a powerful tool to help children develop certain life skills. Understanding the benefits can help parents choose appropriate leisure time games, help educators seek ways to supplement classroom teaching, and help game developers create games that teach. I think that's really important. We talked about everything in moderation, but just the idea that they can be beneficial. There are so many parents out there that believe that video games are just completely evil and ruin and rotting their kids' brains.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, it's like we've been fighting this battle for years, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bad stigma, right? That the
It really
gaming
is.
community gets, and sometimes it does come across unfair. Now, of course, if you listen to our first episode of the year, you heard us that the World Health Organization diagnosed video game addiction as a real disease because yes, it can be. And again, we talked about everything in moderation. No, should your kid play 15 hours of Call of Duty every day? Is that maybe an addiction red flag? Yeah, probably. But there
Probably.
are other video games out there that sometimes they might not even feel like a video game to the kid because they're really just teaching them things. And we're going to jump into here. Number 2 is video games can teach problem solving skills. And it's true. We talk about different puzzle games that they have. Here they say video games can help children's brain development. For example, when my son was a young adolescent, I watched him play Legend of Zelda games. He had to search, negotiate, plan, and try different approaches to advance. Around the time of my research, many other games involve planning and problem solving, such as Bakugan. Defenders of the Core were being released. I have no idea what game that is, but apparently it's got a lot of puzzle solving mechanics in there. There's also modding where players can customize characters, things like that. The more you get into PC gaming, the more you can have mods that are part of games. And you really just learn different ways to develop. Some kids might be into the development side of things. Kia, do you do any of this stuff with Kane that you see a lot of problem-solving skills that he gets out of video games, or how do you kind of use this to your advantage?
Yeah, he likes so he's a big puzzle kid. He loves puzzles. Now I will say that there are some times where he's like he thinks he tells me he can't, but I know he can.
Yeah.
I know he can because I've watched him do it before. You know them kids that are all sneaky. They're like,
Yeah, of course
I'm
they
so
test you.
poor. I'm so helpless and defenseless. Please help me. Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
My kid. He is dramatic as all get out. And for anybody who pops into my streams and knows that my son likes to come in my streams, he loves being on the camera. I'm telling you.
It
Kid
is
was
funny.
meant
Anytime
for
we're
it.
recording a podcast, he's always got an excuse to come in, and you can always, if you're
Oh,
watching
yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube, you'll see Kia turn around, and she's trying to listen to me talk, but it's always funny. In my head, I'm like, I wonder if she's hearing anything that I'm saying, because right now she's telling Kane to get out of the room because it's probably like, Kane, out of the room. Mama's recording right now.
I've done it so many times on the podcast. I know I did it in a couple episodes, or the last 2 episodes we did. I don't know if you realized it, but I muted my mic because he opened my door and I'm like, get out of here.
Listen, he's just trying to become
He
a streamer. He
just
wants
he
to be live on camera.
he really does. And actually, him and my husband actually streamed for the first time in over a year. My husband streamed, and it was with Kane
Hmm.
on his channel, and they were doing the Henry Stickmin collection.
Nice.
And so Kane got to do all the decision making and everything, and it's amazing how well his memory is because he's actually watched videos on Henry Stickmin and knows the ways to how things work and like how to actually successfully leave like whatever scenario they're in. And he'll be like, "Oh, this," and he's like, "How'd you get that right on the first time?" And he's like, "I've seen this episode." It's hilarious, but he does actually know how to. I guess he's figured out how to do things like certain
Yeah.
things on his own. He's I don't know. He's just in his hand now. The only thing that we need to work on with him is his hand-eye coordination. Apparently, it's not very good.
Key, it's very simple. You get what's called a pitchback. Did you ever have a
Oh,
pitchback as a
child.
kid or see a pitchback? So
No.
it's this frame that you set up in the backyard, and basically it's so you can play catch with yourself. So you throw a ball
Oh,
at it,
okay.
and you throw the ball into this net, and it slings it right back to you
Oh,
immediately.
okay. Okay, I need to get one
Your
of those for
hand-eye
him. He's gonna
coordination
be so
gets
mad.
there really quick because you hit yourself in the face 2 or 3 times. You're like, huh.
Oh Lord, he's gonna come in bawling. He's gonna come in boohoo. Mom,
Well, the funny thing is
I
the
I
funny
don't
thing
like it. It's ruined my life. I'm telling you,
the funny
this
thing
is
is,
the worst
Kia,
day of my life.
is the way this thing works. It's it's the more angry you get. You know what kids are. The more angry we get, they're gonna throw the ball harder because they're mad.
Yeah.
Well, the harder you throw the ball, the faster the ball comes back to you. So you can get quite a bit. Maybe start with a softer ball,
Maybe.
not a
I
soft
don't know.
ball. Those are hard. They'll
He
break his
loves
face.
so he loves football. So my father-in-law got him a real football for Christmas. Came with a tee and everything. Um, and so we were playing and I was teaching him how. So my son is left-handed.
Mhm.
I am right-handed and so is my husband. Now I can do things with my left-handed. With my left hand. I'm actually left eye dominant. So when I shoot anything, I have to use my left eye. So I taught myself how to use my left hand.
Yeah.
So I can teach him in some aspects how to use his left hand when throwing and stuff like that. And he throws like he threw a perfect spiral the other day, and I was like, now if you could just catch the ball, that would be amazing.
Hey, if you're gonna be quarterback, you don't have to catch it, right? So
Right.
it could work.
But so I was trying to teach him how to catch the ball. Like, I was like, okay. He's like, well, it's at my face. I said, then direct it away from your face and direct it towards your body. That way it's not coming
Mhm.
at your face. And he's
Absolutely.
just like not understanding this concept. And I think one time, like Josh, he got hurt because it did something, and I
Mhm.
don't remember what, but he got, I'm done. I'm like, okay, dramatic, whatever, you're done. Okay, go sit down, chill out. Well, he came in because I guess Josh had tackled him gently, obviously.
Mhm.
And he was trying to get the ball, and Kane rolled away from him, and the ball popped him in the mouth. And
Ooh, not
he
fun.
had a loose tooth already. The tooth was super loose. We've been telling him he needs to pull it out, which he actually did the other day. Super proud of him for that. But we kept telling him, baby, you need to pull that tooth out. It's like super loose. Well, it popped him in that tooth. And of course, it pinched the
Ooh,
gum. So, of course,
yeah, of
there's a little
course.
blood. Okay. My child does not like blood. He does not like the sight of it. If it's his or anybody else's, he's not for it. Like, he is just no. Like, this is a no go for him. And I hear it. I hear it. Obviously, mama instincts, right? My kid's screaming, crying. I'm like, what is going on? I already knew because he was
Yeah, of
with Josh. So
course.
it's like I knew something happened by accident and now it's ruined his life. So he comes in. I'm never playing football again. Daddy hurt me on purpose. I'm like,
Oh no.
yeah, he hurt you on purpose. What happened? Like this kid, anytime something happens, it's like it ruined his life. It's the worst day ever. He's just very dramatic.
Yeah, of
Just
course.
yeah. But so we need to work on his hand-eye coordination. But his problem solving skills. God.
So let's see. Let's go back into this article a little bit. Number 3. I wish we were queued up for the helps with hand-eye coordination. That would have been great timing. I would
Right.
have been disappointed if that's one of the ones later. But video games can inspire interest in history and culture. So the content of certain video games can encourage
Yeah.
kids to read and to research. For example, video games such as Age of Mythology, Civilization, so Civ games are really good. Age of Empires may spark a child's interest in world history, geography, ancient cultures, and international relations, especially if
Both
parents
those
are
games are
alert
amazing.
to opportunities. So that's a great example to learn a little bit of history. I know that I really enjoyed history. I wasn't good at math and science, but I loved history and English. And a lot of the stories you have to read for school you're not so interested in, but as soon as you see it in a movie or I got in a video game, the amount of history I've learned from a video game, because I'll jump in Assassin's Creed games are really, really good because they take you into this alternate version of history. But to truly get some of the best out of the game, they give you teases of kind of what that era was like back in the day. And then you start
Yeah.
reading, oh, what did this king actually do? Or how did this go? Next thing you know, you've gone down a rabbit hole of like actual history and jumping into
Yeah.
it. So I think it's really, really good to introduce kids to that, and games is something that they'll play. And sometimes they're learning and they don't even realize that they are learning.
Yeah. I can say I've played both of those games multiple times. I love them because they do inspire a little bit of history and they kind of teach you um and you have to build your own world. You have to build your own civilization. You have to
Yeah.
build up. And then of course depending on which civilization you choose depends on what you get and when you get it.
Hmm.
And like if you can barter with a different civilization on getting new technology or like it's really cool. They're amazing games for kids if you want to get your child into it. There is a lot of reading involved because obviously when they're actually talking, it's not real words.
Yeah, absolutely. And
um, so you actually do have to read a lot, which could also be very good if you're trying to get your kid to read more. But I feel like this would be a good way if their kid is struggling a little bit to maybe get into history. This might be a good way to help them.
yeah. So number 4, this is a
Yes,
big
I've played
one.
Civ.
This is a big one for me. We talk about this all the
You do.
time. Video games can help kids make friends. The socializing in video games, I think, is definitely underrated. Most people see the socialization in video games, especially parents, are going to look at this. Oh, I don't want my kid talking to people that they don't know.
Mhm.
Yes, it is true that you can run across some bad things that are out there, and I understand being cautious. There's ways, and if you want to understand the different chat setups and things like that, we can definitely help you or introduce you to games or things to look out for if you think your kid is talking to someone that's not a kid. It's more positive than it is negative. The problem is that every negative one probably eliminates the 100 positive stories that were out there, right? So it just gets over
Yeah.
dramatic. But basically, in contrast to their parents, most young kids see video games as a social activity, not an isolating one. And that's a big sentence right there. A lot of parents see this as their kids just isolating to themselves. They don't want to talk to other people, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Video games create a common ground for young kids to make friends, hang out, and provide structured time with friends. So I think that is a very, very important to understand that it can add that social aspect to it.
Yes, it can for sure. I mean, yes, you still need to be a little cautious. But that's just me as a parent. But it does help give them that social aspect as well. Like you said, it's not them just isolating. Sometimes they are doing that because they're talking to their friends that, you know, they met at school and they share a interest and they share a similar game and so they hop in a chat together and this is
Absolutely.
their way of communicating. I mean, just like what we used to do as kids. What did we do? We get on our bikes, we go to our neighbor's house or a friend's house or whatever. That's how we socialized because we didn't necessarily have this type of communication back then.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah, now you can
now they have
you're not limited to just
that.
the one or two kids that may live on your street. It opens up the door to kids that one of the biggest things heartbreaks I ever had as a kid is I made friends with people and then they moved. And I don't mean like moved neighborhoods, they moved states. But
Yes.
now video games, kids are able, whether it's social media or video games, kids are able to stay friends with a lot
Hmm.
of people. So I think video games is
Yeah.
great for that. Number 5, we're going to go through these quickly. Video games can encourage exercise. if you're a parent that has just kind of been forced to listen to this, you're probably already rolling your eyes and you think that's the dumbest thing you've ever heard. But right here, the article talks about in my research, players, specifically boys, talked about learning new moves from sports video games and then going to practice them on the basketball court or skateboards. Some took up new sports after being introduced to them in video games. Hockey, whether it's football, whether it's baseball, skateboarding's great. The Tony Hawk games are always good for that. And new skateboarding games are always coming out. Rollerblading. It is true. You kind of do something in the game. You're like, oh, I wonder if I can do that outside. And then they're interested in something else. Research showed that playing realistic sports video games, excluding tournament fighting, led to an increased time spent playing sports and exercising in real life. Now, the other thing that
I
I
like how they
want
put
to
that in there.
yeah, the other thing that I want to point out is there are games where there's that new that Ring Fit or whatever for the Nintendo Switch is really really popular as far as exercise games. It sets goals, limits. Apparently, it's very very difficult. You're playing a video game, but you're exercising the entire time. You've got VR gaming that has exercise. You've got Just Dance. If you want to play a game like Just Dance, it's going to feel like you're doing exercise the entire time. That's available pretty much on everything that a person
They
can
have
get a video
Zumba
game.
games, Zumba
Zumba
games
games as well. Yeah, absolutely.
I can honestly, I was one of those parents that would say that this doesn't necessarily encourage it, but
You were wrong.
my son has recently found a basketball game and has decided he wants to play basketball.
See?
So now he's asking for a basketball hoop and a basketball so he can play basketball. And I'm like, kid, what are you talking? We don't even watch basketball in this house. Come to find out, he found a free game on his Xbox. I guess it was on Xbox Pass or something.
Yeah.
And he downloaded it. And he started playing it. And he was like, I want to play basketball now. And I'm like,
See?
okay.
There's a good see, that's a real life example for someone that was already would have been rolling their eyes.
So I would have, because I was like, there's no way, because I mean a lot of times, but my kid is usually not a kid who leans towards the sports type of video games. But I guess for some reason he thought basketball looked fun. So he downloaded it and started playing it, and now he's like, can we get a basketball goal, a real basketball goal, Mom? Because I want a real basketball goal. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can encourage them to get out and actually do stuff.
Kia, I'm curious of your thoughts on this next one, because this one can get a little touchy for parents. Number 6, video games can promote the joy of competition. It's normal and healthy for right here it says it's normal and healthy for kids to compete with their peers as they jockey for status and recognition. In my surveys and focus group studies with the young teens, I like to compete with other people and win was one of the most popular responses for playing video games. Again, especially for boys. Video games are a safe place to express those competitive urges and can give children who don't prefer sports a chance to excel.
Yeah.
I think that that's huge, because you talk about kids in school, right? At least for me, older, I know they do different things today, but back in the day, it was all about playing kickball, dodgeball, and foursquare. And sometimes tetherball. And if you weren't good at one of those 4, you were just shunned the entire time. No one wants to be the kid picked last every time, but video games give you a chance. Almost every kid will excel at one type of game. Maybe they're good at the Mortal Kombat Street Fighter style games. Maybe they're good at the top-down stuff. Maybe they become a leader because they play games where everyone has to be together in a group and someone needs to be the leader, and they're good at getting people organized. Maybe they're really good at solving puzzles, but it puts them, or maybe they're really good at sports games. Maybe they're Canes wants to play basketball now. Yeah. Maybe Kane's never going to be great at basketball if he tries, but if he keeps playing that basketball video game, he might be the best one out of his friends. Yeah. So maybe they're a fan of a sport, but they don't do very well athletically with it.
Actual sport.
But in the video game, maybe they can learn to be really, really good and they get to enjoy it. So I think this one's really, really important if you look at it the right way.
Yeah, it is. If you look at, like you said, if you look at it the right way, it can be. I know my child is very competitive. Yes, he is an only child, but he is very competitive. And he gets that very naturally because I am a very competitive person.
It's your fault.
It is 100% my fault. I was very competitive growing up. I ran track. I played in different sports. And let me tell you what, I get me out on that track, and Lord help the person who was in front of me because I was coming for him. But I was just very competitive, and I always beat myself up if I didn't actually win a race, which was rare, but it did happen. And But so he does get his competitiveness very naturally.
Yeah.
So I ran track. My both my parents ran track.
Hey,
So
there you go.
yeah, so it's pretty much yeah, he gets it very honestly. But yeah, he is very competitive. So it's a good way for them to compete if they're not
Your chat is
in
even
sport.
laughing at you.
Because they
Million
know
percent,
I'm
they know it's your
extremely
fault. Yeah.
competitive. I know.
Listen,
It is.
piggybacking off of what we just said, I kind of brought it up. Video games, number 7 talks about video games can offer leadership opportunities. I know that
Yeah.
is big and something that you know, Kane being homeschooled, I'm sure this is something that can hit well with you guys as well. It says here, children playing video games in groups often take turns leading and following, depending on who has specific skills needed in that game.
Yeah.
Explaining and demonstrating games is good for developing leadership skills such as persuading and motivating others and mediating disputes. In addition, online multiplayer games offer teens a rare chance to participate in and sometimes lead a diverse mixed age team, and nobody cares how old you are if you can lead the team to victory. That
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah. It's really big. So fun thing is, so Kane plays Apex with me, right? Well, he was given Jump Master, at the start of our game, which is basically the person in charge of jumping us to our destination, wherever we're gonna land, right? So he did. He jumped us, and we ended up winning that game. And I said, "Buddy, you just jumped us to victory. Like you did that, like you were in charge of two adults." And, and we ended up winning that game. So it was really fun. But yeah, so it definitely is one of those things like that's kind of like he was kind of just put into that role to like jump us. They're called jump masters, and that's what
Yeah.
they do. They jump you to wherever your destination is going to be for you to get your loot and proceed to win the game, and he did. He did exactly that. So it was really good. But yes, that in video games they can be, and a lot of times people they don't care how old you are if you
No,
can
not at all.
do a good job of it. Like if you're good with it, and they don't care how old you are. They don't care that you're 7.
Yeah.
you know? So yeah.
Now we got a couple more here, Kia, as we wrap up this episode. Number 8, video games can spark creativity. This is another big one. An experimental study
Mhm.
published in the Creativity Research Journal found a link between certain video games and creativity. The 352 participants either played Minecraft with or without instruction, watched a TV show, or played a race car game. The researchers found that those who played Minecraft without instruction completed subsequent tasks with the most creativity. Researchers speculate this may be because they were given the most freedom to think on their own while playing. I know you're trying not to smile over there because Minecraft getting a shout out. If you listened to last week's episode, that was one of Kia's games that a kid can introduce a parent to. Um, Minecraft is big with that.
Yeah.
Kia, I'll let you kind of give your thoughts on this.
Um, Personally, I like it a lot that they did it. They allowed kids to do it without instructions because I know that's how my son learned. He played it without instructions, and he has come up with some of the most creative things. The other day, he was in one of his gazillion Minecraft worlds because he has a gazillion of them. Um,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Mom, look, come look what I made. Come look what I made." I said, "Okay." So I go in there, and he made a whole little cat house. Like, like a cat, like a climbing post where they can sit or scratch or whatever. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he made a whole thing like that. And I was like, you just did that?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just wanted to make something for my cat because they have cats in Minecraft that you can have as pets." And he's like, "I just wanted my cat to have a tree house or
Oh,
a cat
wow.
tree." And I said, "Oh, okay." So he just made a little cat tree house for his cat. And I was like, "That's," but yeah, he comes up with some of the coolest stuff, and like he knows how to work with redstone, which is a advanced thing
Yeah.
to do in Minecraft. I still can't figure it out to save my life. No matter how many times he's shown me, I'm just like, "Yeah, okay." I still don't get it, but all right. Like, okay.
Now,
And he's really good with it. But yeah, so it does. Minecraft can definitely, especially if you just let your kid go. Like, don't tell them what you want. Don't tell them how to do it. Just let them do it, and they'll figure it out.
it's funny you just talk about, Kane being able to do something with the redstone, which is probably the most advanced feature in Minecraft.
Yeah.
That leads us into our final one here. Number 9, video games can provide teaching opportunities.
Oh yeah.
It says here, roughly 1/3 of the children we studied said they played video games in part because they like to teach others how to play. As one boy's dad revealed during research, most of the interaction my son has with his buddies is about solving situations within a game. It's all about how do you go from this place to that place or collect the certain things that you need and combine them in ways that are going to help you to succeed. Some children gain status as the go-to kid who knows how to beat the toughest parts of a game, teaching others builds social and communication skills as well as patience. I think that that is a big time, whether you're playing a Diablo style game, World of Warcraft, Destiny is a big one. Whether even if they're a little bit older, they're jumping into Call of Duty, maybe they're playing a racing game, maybe they're playing a sports game. There's always the kid that like it could be a simple, it could be a cheat, it could be a glitch in the game, it could be a lot of different things. But there's always one kid that's very good that will be the go-to of a friend community. Man, I really can't figure this out. Can you help me? Can you show me how to do this?
Yeah. There's always that one person in that community that can do it. So yeah, definitely. I think that's huge reach to him. Like if like I said, he loves to show and he loves to show me how to work redstone. I just can't for some reason figure it out. I try. I just don't do a good job. So I just let him do it. I'm like, yeah.
But they love teaching. You know, they
They
love
really
teaching
do.
not just their friends, but their parents, and that's how you can get involved. And that's one of the things this article is basically trying to do. It's talking about getting parents and kids involved
Yeah.
together through video games and the benefits that kids can have. So, again, we just went over 9 benefits of video games for your child. My name is James III. This is Kia Kane. Thank you so much for watching Parents vs. Gaming or listening to us on the audio platforms. Any like, subscribe, share us with other people, comment, things you want to hear about in future episodes, we would love to hear. Again, you can catch us live once a month on Kia's Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/KiaKane0801. We hope you guys have a great week, and next week we will be back to discuss gaming lingo.
Yes.
I'm very excited about that, to try to help out some of the parents. When you hear your kids saying weird things, you're not really sure what it is and if they're saying something that's bad, because some of the lingo can be teetering on that sketchy side, even though it does not mean anything that a parent might think that it means. So
Exactly.
thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.